guys, Gary King here at La Forêt again. We decided to do another musicians chat, and part of the reason for doing these is hopefully to inspire some younger musicians to do things the old-fashioned way, as we like to sort of put it forward, and not rely on these technologies and so on. So I've got my neighbour actually, Raf, who goes by the name of Eckmat with his music. We've done a couple of songs together. I really like what he does. Now, bear with him a little bit at the beginning, especially because he's not used to doing this. He is a Frenchman. Bonjour, bonjour. And he does have a good grasp of English, but you have to listen carefully. And I think he's got a good story to tell. So here we go. Here's another little chat for you. Bonjour, bonjour. So this is Gary King here at La Forêt. I've got my dear mate, my neighbour, my voisin, is here with me today.
I'm the guy next door.
The guy next door, right? And we decided that we wanted to do a little sort of podcast thing. Raf has been my second pair of ears over the last couple of years. So pretty much everything that we've worked on has been put through the grinder, and he sat and listened to a lot of it. So he's been a real help with listening back to some of the tracks we've been working on with Dark Era and with Steve Michael and various other people. So whenever I'm doing something new, I always like, come on, get over and come and have a listen, right?
Yeah.
So we thought we'd do a little talk today about some of the tracks that we're working on together, which are under the name of Eckmat, which is an interesting story in itself. And part of the idea of this is to be able to get younger musicians, younger artists, people that want to be creative, to understand that, one, you don't have to be a professional. You don't have to be up there to start in the first place, that if you've got a professional attitude, but also we're able to construct musical pieces, songs from the absolute basics and work up to get something that sounds as good as, if not better than, a lot of the stuff that's out there. So anyway, I'd like to welcome my dear friend, my French brother over here. And anyway, so we're going to start off talking a little bit about your background, which I obviously know, where you grew up, how maybe some of that has influenced you in your artistic ideas.
Yeah. Hi, El. In fact, I grew up in Egypt, spent most of my youth there. My father were very curious. Yeah, sorry for my English, I'm not absolutely fluent. My father were very curious of everything, and we've been introduced to very weird places that do not exist anymore, doesn't exist anymore, such as in the official Cairo Museum, the big one, the main one.
Yeah.
There was a room smaller than here, with hundreds of mummies just on shelves. Nobody can access that. I've been here. I've watched all those cats, toddlers on the floor everywhere. It was very special, We did things like this.
Yeah.
Really. The desert is very important for me. The sound, the fact that it's absolutely hot and freezing, and you can't imagine what it is if you've never been. No. And petrified forest also.
Yeah.
It's a whole forest that had been covered by sand, and who is now completely petrified, and you have trunks.
Yeah.
Complete trunks. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, I spent time there.
Well, I went to Egypt on my honeymoon, so I got to witness the deserty areas, and of course it gets really cold at night, doesn't it?
Yeah, very freezing.
Yeah. So being there, again, I've always said that people who've had the opportunities to travel or maybe witness other places on a scale like that, because how many years were you there? 10 years, right? So it wasn't just there for 6 months.
No.
Right? Those things do change your outlook, don't they? As time goes on, you don't realise it at first, but when you look back, like all the times I've been to Brazil and Mexico and stuff like that, it does leave an imprint on you that maybe when you're coming up with ideas for things artistically, you can draw on some of those things, like on our second song, because we got that feel with the tablas and the desert and all that kind of stuff, which to me, I was just like, well, that's where it's got to be like that, right? You know?
The fact that we've been a lot in the desert and among the people who live there, we were practicing horses lesson. Don't know the word exactly.
Yeah, horse riding and
Horse
stuff
riding,
like that.
yeah. And it was in the desert, and it was with the people, and you spend time with them. You look at them playing music. You listen to them. It's something that brands you.
Yeah.
And because Egypt is a real, I think, like lots of countries that at this moment were not really in Western countries' standards.
Right.
Lots of things are really different, and you figure out only when you become more mature. And especially what stays, it's the value of life. We have a great value for life. I live in France. Life is very important. Lived in England. Life is very important. In Egypt, I've seen my first bodies. I was maybe 5 or 6. My first hangman, I was 8. I found execution poles in the desert. We were swimming between minefields.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's very different,
Yeah.
very different, and it brands you. It brands you, and I don't know if it structured me, but the themes, the way I write my songs, or well, I'm a very poor poet, but sometimes I do, and it's part of what I'm made of.
Yeah. Well, I knew that when you first came, because you've been here. Everybody who sort of listens in knows we live on a farm.
Yeah.
And so this is your 6th Christmas here?
Yeah, something like this.
6th.
Yeah.
So for a few years, I kept saying to you, come on, you got to bring it, because I knew you had a good guitar. You got to bring your guitar over. You got to, come on, you got to. And it's like, you know. And then finally, I think Nancy, your dear wife, pushed you a little bit. And you came over and we did one song. And I was like, this is great. And my brother, good old Serge, he goes, sounds like a sort of Gary Newman sort of rock type of thing. He sounds like Gary Newman. I was like, that's brilliant. You know, especially the later, not Cars, but the later Gary Newman sort of thing. Voice, the sort of tone and everything. But to get you to come over and then knowing about your massive interest, because we call people like you an audiophile, right? Somebody who is a collector of music, you know, from vinyl tapes, CDs, everything. So it was like I suddenly got the perfect sounding board living next to me, which is the first time ever in my life, you know. So that was a brilliant thing, and it meant a lot to have somebody who would come and listen and go, I think that's good. Yep, that's it. And I'm like, well, if I think it's good, Raf thinks it's good, and say Gina thinks it's good, and then we're on the right track, aren't we? But that's, again, you've drawn a lot of this from your background, I think, you know, and I know we do it subconsciously, don't we, as well? Yeah. You know, and then later on, you took the step of going to London for a while. Yeah.
I worked there as an au pair. I was in Ealing Broadway, and it was a very cool experience. I studied English at university. Between my first 2 years, I went there. I had the opportunity to go there, so took it, and it was very cool. I was in a very nice family, and I had a lot of time for myself, and I spent a lot of time in the tube, really picking up stations. Say, okay, I'm gonna visit there.
Just pointing on the map.
Just pointing on the map and going, and I went. Not everywhere, but in a lot of places. And I spent a lot of time in Camden Town.
Yeah.
And Soho. Why
yeah.
not? Yeah, yeah. Of course, Soho. No. Just because it was a very interesting place.
It was an amazing place.
It's
You know.
it was. I don't know how it is nowadays, but it was something such as Little America. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Neons and
Yeah. Well, the
incredible.
whole of the scene there back in, especially the 80s, Denmark Street, Carnaby Street, all those places. I mean, I don't know about Soho itself, but like Carnaby Street is just a joke now. I mean, all it is I think there's like two or three, a Nike shop and a Adidas or whatever, Adidas shop. Whereas it used to be, that's where everybody used to go and get their rock and roll gear.
Yeah.
Camden Market, the same, all that, Kensington High Street, and a lot of that's just all gone, you know, because those genres of styles of music have sort of depleted slightly. If you wanted leather trousers, that's where you went, you know, and yet some Indian guy would sell them to you, you know. But those places were hubs that we were able to go to,
Yeah.
and gain ideas from, weren't they? You know, you always gained something from going, you know, I mean, everybody from where I lived used to get on the train and go up to London for a Saturday to go around the shops to buy their rock and roll gear.
Yeah, of course. And, when I was there, Camden Town was like that. It was my ex-wife worked in Camden for a few years, and it was really brilliant. Brilliant. There were people in the street you never see anywhere else.
No.
Like out of a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah.
It was incredible, really incredible. And Soho was it was different. Lots of people with a lot of cash, and lots of poor people, and very fun. Very fun.
Yeah. I think it was Kensington Market was the big one, because it was 3 different levels, and you could literally spend the day there.
Yeah.
And years later, after actually moving here, before you guys came, I had a girlfriend from Mexico. We went over and I said, I've got to take you to this market. And we went there and it was gone. The whole building
Closed.
literally was just boarded up. And I said to someone,
Okay.
where's that? And they said, oh, that closed years ago. And I'm like, oh, no.
We're getting old, mate.
Yeah. So that's when we went down to Carnaby Street and everything had gone there. And, it, you know, again, I think a lot of that was built up around the music of the time. So you had the gothy scene with like Sisters of Mercy, Mission, all that. You still had the remnants of the punk stuff going on. You had the heavy metal thing, the rock thing going on, and so on. Whereas it is creeping back in slowly. But that scene at one time, if you weren't wearing a tracksuit and certain brand of training shoes, that's what it was all about. It changed into that type of thing. So of course everything sort of goes around in circles, doesn't it? We talked about this with somebody else where we said, you know, we used to go to the Crypt on a Friday night, and then that's where all the bands played, and then we'd go up to Saturdays, which was a big disco. And we knew everybody, and everybody used to go. And then on Thursday night, they would have like goth night and all that kind of thing, you know. And everybody knew everybody, you know. And I'm sure it still goes on today, but it's slightly different. It's based around a different type of musical style.
It's just different, but
just different.
People are the same.
Yeah. So anyway, so we just talked about this before, is that when I worked in the schools in America, in New Mexico, one of the things that we would talk to students about was, you know, before you go out and buy a $40,000 truck to try and impress the girls, you know, at 17, go and travel a bit, because you never know the place you're in until you travel, do you?
Yeah, you have to compare. You
Yeah,
have to be able to compare.
Yeah, and people, you know, I used to know people back then who'd say, yeah, well, I don't need to go anywhere else. Well, now I know I don't need to go anywhere else because I've been to these other places. So parents, with your kids, you know, give them a chance to visit, even if it's just visit the next city and stuff like that, because people have become quite insular. And if you can go somewhere else, you're never going to be disappointed when you get back, you know, because you can at least say, well, yeah, I thought that place was great, but this, and then you experience different cultures and different music and, well, different food, everything, don't you, you know? So I think it's a really important thing. And I know the Governator, Raf's son, he's just been 6 weeks, was it, in Spain?
Yep.
You know, which is a big step for him.
Yes.
And I bumped into him the other day. I was talking to him because I can actually speak to people a little bit here, and I was like,
Il parle très bien français.
Oui, c'est bon. But he's like a different guy.
Yeah.
He looks completely different, you know? It's just like, boom, all of a sudden. And those experiences are, whatever you end up doing, are so important, you know, for you not to end up stagnating in one place, aren't they? You know. Anyway, on to your guitar. So you told me a little bit of a funny story anyway, about when you first started, you went for guitar lessons.
Yeah, it was. I wrote the name of the thing because I don't know it. A community youth club.
a community youth club.
Yeah. Basically, my father was fond of music, and
Right.
he used to play guitar when he was a kid in a band. And so one day he bought a really crappy, cheap guitar with the equivalent as an amplifier. And it was absolutely forbidden to use it.
To use it.
Come on. Too much temptation in such a sentence.
Yeah.
So little by little, I understood how it was working. And one afternoon, I didn't hear my mom coming home. And I was trying to play with no skills, just a basis of Eddie Cochran.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. What are you doing? Oh, no, don't tell him. No. We have to tell your father about this. And my father was very happy with that. So we went to this community youth center. And I had my first guitar lesson. They were so boring. And it was, seriously, you can't do that to kids.
No.
It was. I understand why they were doing it, but we studied kids songs for toddlers.
Yeah.
Come on, come on. We were listening to maybe Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that, and we were playing things about moon and frogs and seriously. So I stopped there. I tried to learn by myself, but there were no YouTube, there were no tutos, few books, but it was hard for me to learn with that. And my father, because he was working with a guy who was playing in a band, said, I got a friend, Jacques Chabre, a guy from the south of France that was living in where we were in Mâcon for many years, and it appears that this guy played with Vince Taylor
Right.
in the early 80s. He was a fucking good musician, mate. A really good blues player, rock and roll player, absolute fan of bands like Toto,
Yeah.
and like very tricky to play, and B.B. King, all the Kings.
Yeah.
He didn't know you, but you would have been a fan, you know. and then,
Merci.
with pleasure. Albert King and so on. And I spent maybe 5 or 6 years with him playing. We were mates. Even if the age difference was very big, we stayed in touch for years after that. It was really cool. And in the middle of this, we started the band with friends. It was the Shatters.
Yeah.
And it was
Down, down, down.
no, it was good.
Yeah.
Post-punk,
Yeah.
very cool. But it was our first band. We just wanted to play. You know, we were listening to. It was the beginning of the grunge scene.
Yeah.
This was such a revolution for us. And I have a guitar, can play. And my friend Bob say, I'm gonna buy a guitar, and I'm gonna play. Never play guitar, Bob. Come on. And our friend Tony say, I want to be a bass player. You play bass? No. You play guitar? No. What are you going to do? I don't know, but I'm gonna be your bass man.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Laurent was a really good saxophone player. I was at the conservatory.
Right.
Very high level. the only one who was skilled
Yeah, yeah.
among us. And my young cousin, that was maybe 3 or 4 years younger than us, was the drum player. We did a lot of gigs, from cool things to we've played in a kitchen
Yeah.
on the floor full of beer and vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. It was cool. It was very cool.
Yeah.
And all this, we started to. We didn't want to be a band that take what the other do.
No.
And we started creating. It was our own songs
Yeah.
with all the default you can have in a song written by a bunch of 5 guys smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool,
Yeah.
but just very fun for us.
Yeah.
And we've spent maybe 5-6 years playing there. After that, everybody moved for study, and I entered different bands, noise, fusion.
And so on, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the usual thing. So that was the only real lesson that you actually went to then.
Yeah, my guitar teacher was really with me.
Yeah.
Jackie spent a lot of time with me, and he did extra hours for me. Because now I can't let you go home with that. Now come on, have a seat, take the guitar, and play this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sends you in the right direction, doesn't it? You know, because he wouldn't have wasted his time if he didn't
Yeah.
think that you were going to actually do it. You
Oh
know?
no, I'm pretty lazy. Yeah, I'm the incarnation of laziness.
Yeah.
Really. I can do things very fast. I have to be under pressure to do something. To do something really.
Yeah.
And the fact that half an hour before the lesson, I have so much exercises.
Yeah.
And I tried my best, and it was working, and he knew it.
So there you are. You've got your guitar and all this kind of stuff. Can you remember what was your first, what you would call really good guitar? The one where you got your first guitar and you went, yes, this is it. I've got what I wanted. Because you got a very nice guitar now.
This is my first guitar.
That is your first guitar.
Yeah, my father's bought me because I succeeded at an exam. I was 15, and my father's had some cash, and not wealthy, but it was not so difficult.
Yeah.
And they bought me a Gibson Les Paul Standard with Marshall valve state, and I always played on this.
Yeah.
Always. My wife offered me a guitar a few years ago that is very fun because it looks like very aggressive, but it's a bluesy sound.
Yeah.
So the Les Paul is really my guitar.
Yeah, yeah. So we go on a little bit from that. Gradually you got more and more into music. But, what would you say, and I already know all this, of course I do, because, you're quite, even though you really do like a certain type of music and a certain type of band, you're also what we call very eclectic. So you listen to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You've got a big collection of stuff, and we've looked through videos of bands on, check this out, and it's all different stuff. Your main, let's say just 4 of your main bands that you said over the last 20 years you've seen.
Oh, 4 for 20 years. This is so cruel, dude.
I can do 4 from going back to when I was 12, but 4 bands that you would say really kind of made you want to at least continue to play the guitar.
There is a difference between what I listen to and what I'm playing.
Yeah.
And 4 bands for 20 years, I will quote The Cure.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
always. French band Noir Désir.
Right.
From the first album to 6667 Club. After that, it was shitty. The first album of Lorna Shore with Will Ramos, incredible beauty. And Cradle of Filth, from Beauty and the Beast to Median.
Right.
going alone on an island, I will take that.
Take those, yeah. Right. See, and again, that's all completely different.
Yep.
Whereas, you get a lot of people, no disrespect, they get a lot of people who they'll just listen to one type of music and that's it for them. But as a sort of artist or as being creative, you're always going to draw from your influences. Yeah. So like when we started doing stuff, mine are slightly different, which is why we came up with something, which I guess is the same for everybody really, isn't it? If you get like-minded people working together that can come up with something, they're always going to be putting something in. That, and what, for those that listen, there's 2 tracks out there under Eckmat, and I'll put a link in the description. I'm proud of both of them, especially the second one, which of course has got our man Lucio on it again, because we have to have him. And I was like, this is great, this is as good as anything that I've done, in my opinion, in the past. And it was really an experiment, wasn't it? Because when we recorded the songs, you can explain how we did it, because we had no drums or anything recorded, did we? It all started with, what were your ideas?
Yep. Yeah. I'm what we can call a good student. If you ask me something, I do it. The thing is that I have ideas, but I'm not able to regiment the ideas. And sometimes I have just a sentence, just a movement, and I always needed somebody to help me into structure. And now this is shitty. Don't say cheese in a song. Oh, come on.
Beaucoup fromage.
Beaucoup fromage. But things like this. But the way we wrote it, I arrived with an idea and I asked you, okay, this is all I've got. And you say, oh, can you try something like this? And yeah, of course, tried. It worked. And then it was working because, but with this, we can do that. And we've changed a lot of things. We've tried a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Yeah, we basically, Raf played these guitar ideas. So guitar idea 1, recorded it. Guitar idea 2, recorded it. Guitar, and so on. No drums, but perhaps me tapping or something like that. And then he would hum some ideas of, this is kind of the chorus part. And then we would just cut it up into pieces, create because you don't record at home.
No.
Right? And we were able to cut it up, construct a piece. Then I lay the drums down using my imagination with a guide vocal. So we created it, and then you'd come back, and if we needed to change anything, we'd change it. And it was real simple, wasn't it? Real simple process.
It was basically it's a conversation.
Yeah.
You got an idea, got another one. This one works, this one doesn't. This one may be augmented or diminué, lowered with something, and it's how it works.
Yeah, and it was because we're working on the third one now, and the idea was to create 3 tracks that all sounded slightly different. So the first one's quite sort of more, not poppy, but more sort of
if
radio.
It's not technical death metal, it's pop music.
Yeah. The second one's a lot more Tool type of track, which of course Lucio turned it into. And now we're doing one at slightly different tempo and everything. But, again, it gave me the experience, once again, of being able to... Because everybody knows I love guitars. So, it's like, wow, my neighbour can actually play the guitar. And you're not technical.
No.
But his timing is absolutely spot on. You know how to play with a metronome. We've really virtually edited nothing at all, or with the vocals. We've not had to do that. But anyway, we'll get on more to the songs in a bit. But again, your musical influences, I think it was quite funny because he has the worst ringtone on his phone you've ever heard in your life. It sounds like someone's literally being murdered, right? So of course I thought, well, he's going to want to do something like that. And actually we ended up doing stuff that was very melodic and very catchy, with slight elements of that in it. Who knows what comes next? But that again, because I then said, wow, I can really get into this, because then we're combining the 2 things that we like. Would you say that you're very melodic? I always thought you had a good idea about melody, natural melody, but very simple. And again, people that are listening in, because you've got a lot of technical wizards out there these days, But I think myself, you still can't beat a melody that rattles around in your head and you can't get rid of, because at least you know you've imprinted that, don't you, in somebody's sort of psyche. Do you think that the people should really focus on melody over technical ability and speed, or a good combination of both?
In my opinion, it only depends what you're looking for. If you're playing in a porn grindcore band, you don't need melody, but you need great technique. If you play in a gothic band, you don't need a lot of technique, but you need an ability to understand melody and notes. Whatever you decide to do, or whatever you're able to do, I'm not a shredder because I can't.
No.
And I can't because I'm lazy. So I have to focus on melody. And
it's a brilliant way of putting it.
Yeah,
that's honesty 101. That
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
It's like arpeggios. I told him you got to do one with some slight arpeggios. Very simple and everything. Oh, okay. I practice. I practice.
Did.
You did practice, yeah.
I did. I'm not very gifted, but I did.
Yeah.
And melody is my kink. Some others will look for very technical stuff. When I go to see a death metal band, we went to see Cannibal Corpse with Nancy, fantastic band. I'm not going there for melody. I'm going there for a kick.
Yeah.
Because I want to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And then last year you went up to see Sting, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Melody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great technique.
Yeah.
Okay. Very jazzy and so on. But it's melody.
Yeah. So again, going to things and again drawing information from these things is.
Yeah, I've seen the Roots live.
Yeah.
Years ago. It was incredible. A guy playing some kind of hip hop with a guy as a human beatbox. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I went to jazz gigs. We were pretty everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classical.
So on that subject of music in France, I was going to ask you, because I my feelings. There's some of it I just can't get my head around it anyway. But no disrespect to the musicians and everything, I think that a lot of it's to do with, again, like the language, the difference in the language. When you worked on these songs, you writing out your phrasing and so on, the difference between putting these parts together in French and transposing them into English, because you wrote them in English, didn't you?
It depends, because as I said, I'm not fluent, and because I'm not fluent, I have lack of vocabulary. I make lots of mistakes in grammar, so I use a lot of dictionaries. I try to be careful and professional, and just doing things right. If I have an idea in English, I write it in English, then I check.
Yeah.
And if I can't say it in English, I will write it in French. It's like it rains cats and dogs.
Yeah.
For a French person, it doesn't mean anything. The equivalent is it rains ropes.
Yeah. And like the names of movies.
Yep.
Some of the movies, that we know the names of when they're released over here, it's a completely different title, isn't it?
Yeah, even if it's also in English.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. But apart from a couple of things where we changed a couple of words, where there was a better word to mean the same thing, the biggest problem that you've had...
Death.
...is TH. All the Latin countries, all of them, it's not just... you.
Yeah,
all of them, right? So it's anything with it's either de or ze, right? So we had to do a little bit of that. But other than that, fixing that. But that goes on to what I was telling you about when I went to Brazil with the guys, say the word imprisoned, which of course has got ed at the end. So like Gus, the singer at the time, they would say imprisoned. I was going, no, it's imprisoned. And he goes, yeah, but there's an E at the end. I said, cut out the E. And he went, imprisoned. I went, there you go. Right? So apart from the
For my defense, I can pronounce it, death, but I can't sing it.
It's like we were recording. I said, say the word. And he said, death. Say the word, death. Say the word, death, 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 death. Now sing it, des.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. We made a little rap loop of it.
Fantastic.
A little rap loop of it. I'll have to see if I can find it, but it's very funny.
I still have it.
You still got it.
Yeah.
But again, it's that, you know, I mean, if somebody asked me to try and sing something in French, there's no way I can do it. Although I do know that song that Arthur's done, which is another story on a guy that we're working with, because he sang it all in French. And he managed to put the words together so that you could sing along with it, which is quite cool. But it is an adjustment, isn't it? You know, especially if you want to put your music out there with English lyrics and vocals.
When you sing in French, you have just a few country, or you have just a few public that will come to you.
Yeah.
French, of course, Belgium, Switzerland, Canada. Basically, that's it.
Africa, somewhere in Africa.
Yeah. Of course, Africa, but it's not.
It's not quite the same.
You have this kind of music in Africa, but it's a real minority.
Yeah.
Most of it is or reggae or a lot of we can say regional music.
Yeah. Overall, because the funny thing is, in France, there used to be, it may have changed now, but there used to be, you were allowed to play on the radio so many English
there are
songs,
quotas. Yeah.
And then they have to play so many French songs, and then there's right. But it's quite funny because, I mean, what's it, France Bleu and channels like that. They're all the same. It's White Wedding, Billy Idol, Michael Jackson. It's always that kind of ilk of song that is most popular, isn't it? You hear it all the time.
We have very stereotyped radios.
Yeah.
You have radios like, it's not for ad to do an ad for them, but Skyrock or Fun Radio that are really specialized in what we can call rap and French R&B. That has nothing to
with R&B.
no, things like this, but French R&B. So rap for lovers, basically, and they're very into this. France Inter, France Bleu, excuse me, but radios for old beans.
Yeah.
And so you have music for people between 40 and 60.
You and me, then.
Yeah. And it's very politically engaged, very... Basically, it cries a lot. And... you have a public for this. And then when you go older, you do go to Radio Courtoisie, and that is music from France between the 40s and the 60s, even if it's a bit punk for them.
Yeah.
But it's very stereotype.
Yeah.
Stereotype.
Do young people actually listen to the radio here still, or is that something that's pretty much gone out?
No. With mobile phone and mobile device, I can't say. When I was young, it was mainly radio, because you were dealing with radio tapes or CDs. Yeah. And after that, the MP3 came with all the possibility of having your own music with you.
All the time, yeah.
All the time, and also an amount of music.
Yeah.
Big amount. And this was cool. And I think it's changed the landscape of listening to music.
Yeah.
When we were young, my old friend, we submitted to what we had.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you can choose.
Yeah.
If you have whatever, Spotify, Deezer, YouTube, things like that, you can choose to listen only to this kind of music.
Yeah.
It was not possible.
Yeah, you become the DJ almost, don't you?
Yeah, you're your own DJ.
You know, we've sort of talked a lot about this in the past. You know, we've talked about bands in Germany and lots of different countries, you know, and of course, old Herman from the Scorpions, being an old friend of mine, talked about why it was important to them. There's his book up there, Here I Am, Herman Rebel, the Scorpions, how important it was for them they wanted to be international, so they sang in English. What do you think of, let's just say, the current scene in music, in popular music in France is really kind of geared towards, is what we were talking about before was in France, if you are a good performer, whether it's cover tunes, your own tunes or whatever, you can get out and play a lot here, can't you?
Yeah, because your help, we have a governmental help centers for musicians and for all the people that work with musicians, for the lights, for the catering, for everything. And you are paid to play music.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of time. It can be your job even if you're not as famous as Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, for example, like Steve, you know, he goes out and plays, a guy who records here, Steve Michael, he plays 45, 55 shows a year.
Yeah.
And some with his band, some by himself. And he's basically funded with what's called the... You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah. But
anyway, it's called the blah, blah, blah. And he was able to basically get paid for all the shows that he did, not just by... He has to do so many shows a year.
Yeah, you have an amount of hour.
Yeah.
For example, if you work for the lights, you can go working for lights, and then you can play. Then you can work in a cinema and dispatching movies, and it's just an amount of time.
And he I think he told me, if I was correct about this, he even got paid to rehearse.
Yes.
Because it's still
it's
the
part
time.
Of your
it's
work.
part of the time. So, whereas obviously in England it's a lot smaller for anybody to go out and play regularly all over the UK is just an absolute nightmare with the roads and the way things are. But at least here, and I'm sure it's the same in other places, maybe Spain and places like that, because you do have those roads where you're not gridlocked like you are in England. I mean, you can drive anywhere here pretty freely, can't you?
Yeah. France is, I think, a perfect country for the DIY.
Yeah.
You can have a small truck, put everything in here, and the guys go.
Yeah.
And you do your things.
Well, it's like the thing a week or so ago. They had a girl with the Mary where they have events and everything anyway, who played the electric harp.
Yeah.
And you were away, unfortunately, because it was quite funny. It was good because we thought there's no way that it's electric pop with an electric harp and singing, right? Well, where we live, it's all old people.
Yeah.
So they had what's called the chorale, which is the choir, the local choir, are all friends of ours, all retired. They were going to sing, and then this girl who came up from Toulouse was going to play the harp and do her thing. And it actually was really good, right? They had a real decent little sound system with bass bins and the lot.
Okay.
And of course, with the LED lights now, you can buy these tube lamps that you set around the stage, very cheap. And she put on and she was actually really good, but completely the opposite to what you would think in Sioniac. But there were all these people appeared from nowhere with kids and all this kind of stuff. And there must have been 150 people there.
Whoa.
Easily, I would have said.
We are in a very small village.
Very small village, in the middle of nowhere. In the boonies in France, really. And everybody hung around. I actually got home at 2:00 in the morning. I hung out with the mayor and Jean. And Jean brought me back, and I was he's our farmer of a farm we live on, so I was able to hang out with him. It was great. But this girl had, I think there was another girl and three guys, and they had a big white truck. After that, they were going to Toul. They were going to 4 other places, so their one trip was worth the trip, But absolutely brilliant, and put on a proper show. There was no stage or anything, lit it all up, and then they just packed all these things away. It was brilliant, and I thought that, to me, is just a great way to be able to get out. And all her music was original, apart from one cover tune she did. And people hung around and stayed. And it was good, and I think that's one of the things that we've seen, because we've got some great little theatres here, haven't we, called the Zenith Theatres, which are all over Europe, actually.
Yeah.
And there is an opportunity to at least try here and get out and play, and if you've got CDs you can and media and
merch
you can sell it, But musically, from what you hear, what you've seen, you know, but music in France for you, sum it up. What is music in France? How do you see it? How do you, and this isn't being disrespectful to French artists or anything like that, but what do you think?
I think it's alive first because you have a lot of things that happens. You have a lot of small or less small labels such as throat winners records,
right,
with bands like Fange, incredible label, incredible band. You have labels such as Les Artistes de l'Ombre. They are signing people, and it works. It works. You have we have the Hellfest.
Yes, of course, yeah.
So for the metal scene, even if it's a small scene compared to all what we can find in rap music or things like that, because it's smaller, when you need just a DJ or yourself on a mic, it's easier because it's lighter, it's cheaper, because when you have 5 musicians on stage, they have to be paid. But the French music scene is really alive, lots of idea, and because of internet, because of the fact that everything is accessible, lots of people can try and it can work. We have artists that with no gigs at all, made an album just because of the internet. You have bands that have grown up like Fauve. It's a fantastic band. It was a fantastic band. They were writing songs with the public. Okay, we've got this idea. What can you say? Okay, mixing everything. It's really alive. People were going to their gigs knowing all the lyrics. It was brilliant.
Yeah, because you're making them part of it, aren't you? Well, we went. It's the first time I've been to a gig in years. In years. And we went up to see Steve play up in Toul, which is next to Brive. It's the next city across, or big town across. And that was a great little venue, right? You know, he was big enough to have drum sets rolled on and rolled off stage on drum risers. They had all the good gear in there. You would be hard pressed to find a place like that in England that a band could go and play in unless they had money.
In France, you have a lot of gig places like this one. I've been in Nevers, and it's a small town center of France. You have Le Café Charbon. That is a major scene in hardcore, for example. You have in Mâcon, close to Lyon, you have another one. I don't remember the name, but same thing. Incredible. I've seen the Roots there, coming from the States and spending time in a city with 2 supermarkets. I've seen the Wailers, without Bob Marley because I'm too young, but I've seen the Wailers. Incredible. And there are small places, and main French artists, also not known abroad but very well known in France, that played in such small towns.
It's
a web. It's really a web.
And even though we do get some crappy road deals here sometimes, the roads, I mean, you can just go, can't you? You know, there's none of this stuck on the M25 on the orbital for 5 hours just to do 10 miles, you know. So we're very lucky like that. But anyway, we've come to the end here of our little chat, just an hour in. I'm going to get you to send me a couple of links of those French labels and stuff, because I think it would be good for people to just look and see out of interest, you know. So if you could do that for me. But I would like to thank my dear friend, Monsieur...
Merci à toi.
Merci beaucoup pour la visite and pour la conversation.
Thanks for the coffee.
And a petit café.
Here's my coffee dealer.
But no, I think it's great. We're here to try and inspire and help people. That's it. You know, if you've got an idea and you want to do something, we've said, many times, we're always here to help. You know, my neighbours are my best friends in France, and we've shared a lot of interesting stories and stuff over the last few years, and it's great to be able to tell other people these stories as well, because it might be just one thing that triggers them enough to think, well, I'd like to have a go at that. You know, I'd like to try and do something like that, and that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're here for the next generation. So merci beaucoup,
Merci à toi.
and I will let you go back to work tomorrow
Yeah.
after bon vacances.
Well, 3 weeks. It was cool. Just to conclude, I'm not a musician, I'm a guitar player, and it was very impressive to come to your place.
Ah,
You have international names.
yeah.
I'm a nobody. And I'm the guy next door who play guitar. And it was really impressive.
Yeah.
And it took me.
Again, for me, you know, because we're blowing up our own backsides here, but the 2 tracks we did, to me, they came out as good as anything that's out there. I think the songs are good, and it worked. And it just shows you that if you get a few people together and you sit down, you come up with some ideas and you enjoy it. I think the biggest problem with music and the arts is you only have to have one person come in to ruin everything. And then it puts a bad taste in your mouth with other people. Try and find people that you can work with and you enjoy their company. That's one of the most important things, isn't it?
Yes, it's one of the most. The other one, I would say, maybe your ideas are not the best, but they can be. And it's a balance between ego and empathy.
Yeah.
And the ability to listen to what people are saying.
Yeah.
And with this, you can go through a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, there
Thank
we
you
go.
very much.
Merci, it's been great.
Merci à toi.
And thanks anybody for listening in. Merci beaucoup. And we will
He
do
speaks
something
very
else.
good French.
He's been my teacher, my professor pour parler français. So, pour construire les phrases and so on. So, merci mon
Merci à
frère.
toi.
And we'll call it a day at that.